Good morning, everyone. Hare Kṛṣṇa. A joyful time to join together for japa. We even have Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Prabhu somehow on here today. Welcome, David. Thanks for joining. And everyone, we have victory at hand. Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. As Prahlāda Mahārāja says, duḥkhauṣadhaṁ tadapi duḥkham atad-dhiyāhaṁ. That I think that the kind of remedies people make to stave off suffering in the material world are worse than the suffering itself. The anxiety of trying to fight an uphill battle that one eventually loses is quite disheartening and causes great consternation. But if we have the right process, and that is to take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as recommended in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, samāśritā pada-pallava-plavaṁ, mahat-padaṁ puṇya-yaśo murāreḥ, that He's the shelter of the whole universe, and therefore one should feel free to take complete shelter of Him. There is no other remedy and there is no other process. Direct devotional service especially means chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa with heartfelt eagerness to offer oneself to Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. So one of the helpful guidances that Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura gives is that if you stay attentive to the chanting, then you'll overcome many of the offenses. Or he puts it that being inattentive is the root cause of other offenses. So it's simple. It may not be easy, but it's very simple, is to chant with heart. Remember that there is no other solution to the puzzle of the material world, the puzzling situations that we have to face other than taking shelter of Krishna. The direct way to do that is to chant Krishna's names, and our application means to use tongue, lips, and be very attentive while we're chanting the holy name. And Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam will be successful. And we can start by taking full shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who I just heard this morning Prabhupada say, for those who have no other shelter or no other recourse in this world, He's your deity, because He gives shelter to the most fallen and those who have no other shelter. So we can start by saying the Panchatattva mantra, and then one beat at a time give full focus to the Ma mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Just considering Valmiki Muni, who claimed and deeply felt and was so hindered by his past activities and his involvement with debauched activities in life, killing and stealing, living an immoral life, hill tribe. But when he met Narada Muni, he felt some optimism about spiritual life, and he was also dissuaded from continuing his life, the status quo of his life. Because Narada Muni asked him to go back and ask his family if they were willing to take a portion of the sinful activities he was getting because of stealing from other people on their behalf. And they all said, no thanks. you're on your own. And he had an existential moment where he felt that I need shelter. And Narada was there with sages, a place where Valmiki Muni had actually tried to rob the sages, and then noticed that they weren't intimidated by him. And compassionately, Narada told him to chant. But Valmiki, feeling the momentum of his sinful activity, said he couldn't. He couldn't say the name of God. It was too sacred. He couldn't even utter it. And there might be a feeling that I'll never get out of this for those in the material world, because deeply ingrained karma, habits, and so forth may make one feel wholly unqualified. But Narada, knowing the power of the holy name, suggested a way, tricky way, to get him to chant Rama by telling him to chant Mara. Because you're so involved with death and killing, you might as well chant the name death. And of course, as we know, saying the syllables in succession comes out to be the holy name. And also consider that he became so absorbed in that chanting that an anthill grew over him. So I was thinking this morning, that's focus. If you can sit long enough and chant until an anthill grows over you. And either you don't mind or you don't notice. Because when Narada came back, he could hear inside the anthill that Valmiki was still chanting. He left him in that place, came back sometime later. He could hear the names of Rama going on inside the anthill. And then he told Valmiki to come out. The name Valmiki means one who came out of an anthill. So we're kind of coming out of an anthill in the material world, covered by the modes of nature. You can take it from the great sages in the Shastra that the only way to be successful is take the name of God and just continually give your heart and your attention. It's almost the same thing to the name. Any reflections from this morning's chanting? 1, 2? Pray for the yellow mic. Pray for the
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
I've been thinking about Jayadvaita Mahārāja's Bhagavatam class that he gave last Saturday, practically all week. And I was thinking how he was emphasizing so much on fidelity to the mission of the spiritual master, the order of the spiritual master, and how there's a tendency, at least within myself, I've noticed, to want a shortcut, to get out of the austerity of having to stay within the context of the order of the spiritual master and undergo that benign discomfort as you referred to, I think, about a month ago. But chanting in the process of devotional service, or this tendency towards Niranjana Bhajan, having an individual practice outside the context of the spiritual master, that's like a malignant discomfort. It can be devastating for a spiritual life. It may feel attractive or romantic in the mind, but it's actually devastating. So I was just appreciating this concept of performing the process of Nam Sankirtan within the fortress of the order of the spiritual master, and how that is what ultimately gives taste, not any type of shortcut which we feel could solve things faster, but actually it just extends the journey.
Rasindi. Pray.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. I was thinking, Guru Maharaj, the idea of shelter, and I was wondering what kind of shelters do I see in this world, and I was thinking that, well, I know of homeless shelters, I know of an animal shelter, tornado shelter, and I was thinking that the idea of shelter in this world is predicated on some kind of suffering, that there has to be a suffering and awareness of that suffering that I seek out shelter. Otherwise, if there is no tornado, then a tornado shelter doesn't make sense. An animal who's a pet won't go to an animal shelter, or a person who's not homeless won't go to the homeless shelter. So yesterday we had a youth program and we were talking about the idea of awareness of the human condition and awareness of our own suffering, that if I'm so ingrained, as you were saying, in the modes that I don't recognize that I need shelter, then even if the greatest shelter is available, I will never take it because I don't see the value in it. And to see that value, I have to realize how deep in trouble I am actually with emotions, with thoughts, with awareness, with attachments, the masks I wear. That we talked about the idea of having a temple face and then going back home and removing the temple face, and then the real face comes out when nobody else sees. And I can conveniently put on a temple face, walk around, and live in denial. The moment I take down that face and allow the devotees around me to see that real face, automatically begins the process of taking shelter. So that's what I was reflecting on.
Una más. Yes. Give her a mic. And pray that the red mic will work. You got to pray.
Yeah, my voice is...
No, you have to pray.
Hare Kṛṣṇa Maharaj, I'm very regular for early morning, but today I'm feeling very happy. First time I've completed 6 mala. This is a very small thing, but I'm feeling accomplished. It is a long journey, I will accomplish, but I just want to share that the small thing is giving me happiness. And I feel very happy. I'm attending every Friday Kirtan, I'm going to someone's house. But that consistency and small thing is giving me lots of happiness, I think. So just I want to be very grateful, and I'm thankful for this community. And Apara, Shraddha Mataji, Aditi, they're just guiding me in my journey. And I'm super, super grateful.
Your SSG. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, if you so desire, please give us the spiritual strength to overcome weakness of heart so we can also become SSG. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer or even knows what I'm talking about, please say Hare Kṛṣṇa. Vanchakalptaruscha kripasindhabheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nantakoti vaishnavini. Today, a great sadhu is coming to Iskandar Silicon Valley. I don't know what time he's coming, but we should be ready to greet him, because one of the most expedient ways to advance in devotional service is to honor the great Vaishnavas. So today, undoubtedly, one of the greatest Vaishnavas who's walking the earth today, Sri Radhika Raman Prabhu, is coming here to give lectures. 3 in all, I think 2 today, 1 tomorrow morning. So let's be ready to greet him when he comes with great enthusiasm. And the best thing we can do is sit up close and lean in hard to his lecture, because it's all cream. Okay? Hare Kṛṣṇa. Hey, here's a...